out the door. So without any further ado, let's get right to it. Hello everyone, my name is Rituro, but you can just call me Mr. Unemployable. We're back with Grimsby Town in League 2 of England to start the 2019-2020 season. Our featured match today will be against Barry. The only match to take place so far was the earlier afternoon match in which Wolverhampton actually won a 1-0 victory over Yeovil. So, luckily for Yeovil, Bolton are still on a 10-point deduction for entering administration, so they'll be fine. They'll be fine, but anything bad that happens to Yeovil Town is fine by me. That's a personal rivalry that goes back many iterations of Football Manager, but that's a story for another time. Right now, what I want to talk about is something that we didn't get a chance to talk about in the last episode because I, for some reason, forgot to look down at my notes. We got to talk Canada. And Canada has been very busy on the international stage. We start with the 2019 Gold Cup, in which Canada placed second. Again, I was not surprised to see this. I believe I called this when I first saw the groups being drawn for the Gold Cup. Canada does finish second ahead of Panama and Martinique. Martinique actually getting a win. Good for them. That was not... Of course, it was against Canada. So, I mean, you know, it's... that's not so good. Like, we could have been 2-1-0 had we not, completely fallen asleep against Martinique there. But the point is, Canada does finish second in their group, automatically qualifying Panama and Honduras as the best third-place teams to join Guatemala, El Salvador, the United States, Mexico, and Jamaica. That's a pretty solid qualifying group as far as Gold Cup goes. You wouldn't really expect Cuba, Nicaragua, Martinique, or Suriname to pull up any stakes in the Gold Cup, so that's about what you would expect coming in as your qualifiers. In the quarterfinal, Mexico over Honduras 3-0. Canada, we're here on penalties, advancing over El Salvador. Guatemala 2-1 over Panama, and USA on penalties over Jamaica. 2-2 result in regular and extra time before penalties were required. Gilberto, who for some, I find that hilarious that Gilberto has played with Toronto FC long enough to be eligible for Canada and that they called him up and cap-tied him. That I find hilarious. Anyway, Gilberto, Becker, Tiber, Mortozzi, who I believe is a new gen, and it looks like Nana Atacora with the final penalty after Alas Flores and Alas Part 2 missed their penalties. Will Johnson and Sean Psycho also missing for the Canucks. Will Johnson's penalty goal in the 30th, and then an own goal from David Lopez for El Salvador, the Canadian goals. As far as actual players go, it was an average day at the office for Simon Thomas, which on the international level is very good for him. Daniel Sinise is really coming into his own as a defender, which is excellent. Captain Will Johnson, who has, in this iteration of reality, has not suffered that horrible season-ending leg break that he suffered in Major League Soccer last season, so that's good. Osorio, great day at the office for him. That's what we want to see from our Canadians. So that was the quarterfinal. In the semis, Mexico destroys Guatemala 6-1, as you would expect, and the USA needed extra time to get a 4-1 win over Canada. I mean, they did score 3 goals in extra time, so there's your fitness disparity right there. 1-1 after all was said and done. In fact, Gilberto in the 75th minute nearly won it for Canada, but the US with 38 shots, 15 on target. Maxime Crépeau just could not weather the storm. Gershon Kofi was playing right back? Well, there's your problem when Kofi's your right back. Adekube getting starting duty at left back, though. Good for him. Yeah, that's a little bit bizarre. Oh, that's probably why Haino had to be subbed off for injury. Oh, and Hoylett subbed off for injury. Well, I mean, yeah, when you're losing 2 guys to injury, that's unfortunate. Looks like they finished with 10 men. They did. Finished with 10. Well, that was after Michael Bradley had scored to make it 2-1. At that point, Besler and Green just played with them. It's like a cat would with a dead mouse. Unfortunate. But again, the U.S. is pretty strong in these Gold Cups. 3rd place playoff. Guatemala 1-0 over Canada, so not even a 3rd place. Simon Thomas actually getting injured during the 24th minute, which forced... who did they bring in to replace him? Nigel Marples, a new gen from Orange County, currently playing in the lower leagues. Oh man, no wonder that 62nd minute goal went in. Canada did outshoot Guatemala, but it was not enough. The Guatemalans just way too good on this day. Though Will Johnson did his best to put the team on his back and just carry everything, it was not enough. So So Canada finishes 4th at the 2019 Gold Cup. A bit disappointing, but ultimately, I mean, that is about where you would expect them to finish. They're not quite at the stage of being able to compete for the final unless they get a really lucky draw, though I would like to see them beat Guatemala, all things considered. And the USA beating Mexico on penalties, so not a 2-0 as the Americans love to say, but it's still a win in America for the States. They take home the 2019 Gold Cup. Now that was what the Canadian main side was doing. That's what the Canadians have been up to. They've also been busy at the U23 level because the U23s were at Copa America, if you can believe it. They got invited to the Copa America 2019. And this is absolutely phenomenal. In a group with Brazil, the Mexican U23s, and Bolivia, Canada's U23s finished second. That is a phenomenal result for Canada, even denying Mexico a chance to advance as the best third-place team, one of the two best third-place teams. Instead, Ecuador, Argentina, Uruguay, Colombia, and Brazil, and of course the Canada U23s moved through with the automatic top two. Chile and Paraguay moved through as the best third place. Venezuela, Peru, Mexico U23s, and Bolivia go home. That is phenomenal. Great job for the U23s. Marco Carducci in goal for that one. Not a bad roster of prospects. Some of those names I recognize, some are all new gens. I would say 90% of this is new gens. But I mean, the likes of Carducci and Aparicio, that's great for them to show up and help the U23s with a very famous result, I would say. In the quarterfinal, they even made it better with a 2-1 win over Colombia. The U23s, a legendary run in the Copa America. Argentina 3-1 over Uruguay. Paraguay needed extra time to defeat Ecuador, and Brazil defeated Chile. That's not really a shocker at all. Joe Haber, and then a penalty from Jay Bazzi at the stroke of halftime. And that was just before a red card to Eder Alvarez Balanta, which that'll make your life a lot easier. Despite being down to 10 men, Colombia did get a 75th minute goal from Jackson Martinez to make it close, but all in all, just a bad day at the office. Not good at all for the Colombians. In Canada, they played physical. They played hard. Yellow cards all over the place. They did their job. They got another famous result, 2-1 over Colombia. So much to see who they defeated. They defeated Mexico, which makes sense, and they managed to draw against the other two teams, which is a phenomenal result. Undefeated in the group stage. That is amazing. Semifinals then. They did fall to Argentina 2-0 in extra time. So again, the Canadians are making life miserable for their opponents, which is about all you can really expect for a, let's be honest, middling soccer power, but they are on the rise in Football Manager, which is lovely to see. Brazil 1-0 over Paraguay. So the U23s, I want to make sure we understand what's going on here. The U23s, new gens and the occasional prospect, going up against the likes of Gonzalo Higuain, Lionel Messi. I mean, just this is a Angel Correa. Like, this is a who's who of world soccer superstars. And the Canadians pushed them to extra time for 104th and 105th minute goals. That is phenomenal. Heads held high for the Canadians. Very well done indeed. In the third place playoff, they would fall to Paraguay 2-1. Not a shocker there. And in the final, it was Argentina 3-2 at the Maracanã, which is, oh my goodness. That's going to make a few Brazilian fans unhappy. But Argentina 3-2, they win Copa America 2019. And you know what? That's not even the end of Canada's international results. The U20s. The U20s went to the World Cup. They went to Group C. They did not have nearly as good a time as their senior counterparts, getting drawn in a vicious group with Brazil, Germany, and South Korea. They would end up with 2 draws and a loss. Unfortunate to be sure. That winning that game against Brazil, that would have, pushed them past Germany. Take that second spot, but unfortunately, they lose to Brazil 2-1. They draw both South Korea and Germany. Unfortunate. But such is life. The U20s did their best. We're not really overly concerned with that. On the whole, on the balance of odds, a fantastic international calendar for Canada. Very well done, Les Rouges. Allez, les Maple Leafs. Meanwhile, back on the domestic front with Grimsby Town, I have completed all of my preseason signings, transfers, whatnot, and what have you. We're currently 734,000 in the black thanks to all the preseason ticket sales, which is incredible. We were much more in the red. Thank you, people, for Grimsby Town for buying tickets now that we're back in League 2. Very much loving it. I'm just slightly over my payroll budget. I had to slice it to pay for transfer fees. And by transfer fees, I mean agent fees and signing bonuses, which are killing me. Oh my goodness, these agents are ruthless in League 2. Wanting the 10,000 plus for signing fees and agent fees, just ruining my transfer budget and my hopes to build a squad. But regardless, let's take a look at the transfer history for this season. So, free transfers, we brought in a decent number of people. You see John Byrne here twice. I stupidly accidentally cut this prospect and had to re-sign him. Thankfully, he did so on a slightly cheaper wage, so I'm cool with that. John Byrne, potential to be a decent ball-winning midfielder if our prospects are correct. He'll be sitting on the U23s getting some experience, or the U21s, I should say, getting some experience. Callum Ainley, another midfielder. I'm really trying to stock the midfield here, so I'll get to why I'm doing that later. He projects to be a very nice central midfielder. He's currently out on loan with Wrexham to get his, hopefully, some time playing. Nick Zanev, our depth goalkeeper, is also out, as is Dan Fox, who we signed as a young striker. Apparently, he has some locker room issues, so hopefully being on loan helps him get that in place. Also got rid of a whole bunch of people we didn't need here. So that's that, thank goodness. I believe actually that happened just before I arrived. I say that. I believe that happened just before I arrived, so there you go. Adam Newton, we brought on a central midfielder. Again, this is another kid for the future. He actually looks pretty good for an 18-year-old. I'm really happy with this, so I'll hopefully be able to mold him into something usable. I am being told to adhere to the philosophy of sign young players for the first team, so that's why you see a lot of these young players. However, that doesn't mean young is bad. And Jack Brimmer, a 21-year-old Australian, as a ball-winning midfielder. He's working for a song, and look at those ball-winning midfielder stats. Tackling 13, marking 11. That's excellent for a young ball-winning midfielder. His potential is through the roof. He's going to be starting in the 4-4-2 narrow diamond, so he's a great pickup for us. Amin Linganzi, a Congolese ball-winning midfielder. He's at the veteran presence. If you're going to have, a whole bunch of youth, you got to have a veteran in there, and he's pretty darn good as far as veteran goes. He will be in there as well, 2.5. Great ball-winning midfield stats. Physical stats are something of a concern. His fitness has fallen off quite considerably, but I am confident he will be a good role model for the kids. Then we get into the big signings. Pierre Laraurie. Pierre. He's Peruvian. Look at this. 3.5. He is my new star starting attacking midfielder. This guy was brought in. As you can see, he's making 3.4K a week. That's pretty darn big for this side. He's certainly an expensive key player, but he is there to really kickstart the attack. And I am hoping he will be able to live up to that billing. He is what we need in that attacking role, hopefully. Brendan Baldwin brought in as another D-mid prospect, 20-year-old. Again, he'll be sitting with U21s, getting experience. So hopefully that all works out for us. I did also re-up a few contracts. We go to the squad here. They look at the contract expiry dates here. As you can see, Jonathan Quinn, one of our star strikers, and perhaps our starriest of stars, certainly on a prospect level. He's been lighting it up in preseason. He's re-signed at 2.8 a week through 2022. Glad to have him on board. And James McCown, our starting goalkeeper, has also been re-upped to 2021. Again, on a hefty salary as well, 2.5 a week. So we are pretty solid as far as talent goes for the foreseeable future. Those that are expiring are either depth or not interesting. So even if I did want to resign them, we don't have the cap space, or the salary space, I should say, to do it. We did lose Josh Thompson to a knee tendinitis during the preseason, so he's out for half a year, which is not what I wanted to see from someone who was a starting defender. So that's going to be an issue for this side. Taking a look at the way the squad has been set up here, we'll go to my custom squad selection plus view. All right, so decent on the front. Dion Conroy being brought in as depth center back. I mean, that's gonna be a work in progress. If he can hit that 3-star mark, I'll be super happy. But I'm not, trying to pin my hopes on it. Brimmer, of course, starting in that D mid role. I have Linganzi on to provide sort of that veteran presence. I did lose Baldwin to injury, which is just an unfortunate turn of events. Again, it's just the flu, so he should be back for the next match. They won't be here for Barry, so I'm just going to remove him from the play and put Coulson in as another right back. I can have him there, and Clay can be my sort of swing option further up the field. There we go. I do want to point out the left back situation. If I am concerned about any area of the pitch, aside from center back, which at least I have options for, it's left back. Aswad Thomas is my vice captain, so he's not going anywhere. And Alex Whittle is a young prospect, but both are actually a veteran. He's middling. I thought he was the younger one. I guess not. But yeah, this is not a long-term solution at left back. I definitely need to find a more game-ready and longer-term solution at that point on the park. That is going to have to be done later after I manage the salary. Like I said, I did have to push a bunch of people out on loan just to clear the wage budget. I would like to push a few more out. Adam Newton is one that I have asked to go on loan. No offers coming in yet, but with that want now showing up. A couple of trialists that will not be sticking around here. Vos, I was thinking about. It's ultimately not happening. It's just not worth it. Aerosmith, he wants way too much, and I can't afford to pay him it anyway. And Byrne is just going to sit there and hopefully soak up some experience. So I want to talk about tactics, my philosophy behind this. So I just glazed over it last time. I'm running with 4-4-2 narrow diamond. Why am I doing this? Two reasons. One, it is far easier to build a squad on a budget if you only have to worry about the center of your midfield. If you sign correctly, you can have people swapping between any portion of this diamond. Like, for example, Linganzi is a prime example of this. He can be a D mid, mid, and A mid. That's fantastic. That's depth, that's coverage. That's not having a left winger who can only play the left or a right winger who can only play the right and eating up a roster spot and salary with something that you cannot easily replace. Playing in a 4-4-2 narrow diamond, though, gives us the ability to have people cover for one another. It also narrows the pitch, which means we effectively give up the flanks to really bog down the middle and force the other team to go around us. And if they're crossing the center, and I have my center backs playing as they should, Brimmer is playing as an anchor man to come back and help out, we should be able to handle any crosses into the box, though we saw how that worked out at some of the other teams I played for. The other backup formation we have is the 5-2-3. We saw this when I was playing with Glentoran as the counter-attacking formation. I, for one, am super excited to see it come to fruition again. I have it set here with wingbacks. I'm thinking if we actually have to go into that formation, I will switch this into its limited formation. Why don't I just do that right now? Let's go back to the limited fullback situation. You can see they're already accomplished this. It's amazing when you're a full-time team how quickly you can pick this stuff up. Limited defender on cover, limited defender on stopper, and a limited defender on stopper. All right. In the middle, we of course will have our ball-winning midfielder on defend, and we have our central midfielder on support. And then we'll have a deep lying forward there, an attacker, and a poacher. Excellent. And that is how we do it. That should hopefully set us up nicely. 4-4-2 diamond, looking pretty good. We're already accomplished at this. I am just looking at this. Considering the state of our fullbacks, I may just tell them to play limited. Aswad, apparently, yeah, he's better at limited. They're both being better at being limited fullbacks. Let's just go ahead and acquiesce to that. There we go. All right, so, as I mentioned, 4-4-2, narrow, easy to cover for. 5-2-3, same idea. We can really pack it in and go onto the counter. And it worked so well. It worked so well at Glentoran. Why not? More direct, thank you. Bam. All right, good. Back to the 4-4-2 diamond for opening day against Barry. So again, Wolverhampton 2-1 over Yeovil, Bolton, Torquay, Chesterfield, Northampton, Fleetwood, Tranmere, Forest Green, Doncaster. Oh, Doncaster stole so many good signings away from me this offseason. I already hate them. Gateshead, York, Grimsby, Barry, Hartlepool, Shrewsbury, Lincoln City, Southend, Newport, Scunthorpe, Oxford, Burton Albion, and Rochdale, Barnet. That is your opening weekend in League 2. Joe Bristow out with the broken tool. 4-4-1-1 for Grimsby Town. They'll be packing that midfield as well with 5 in the middle. Let's see how we do. Squad about to be given. That's fine. He wants the number 10. Well, it's not available, so you can have the 8. We'll deal with that later. Alright, so again, top 7 are in the playoff spots. We aren't even projected to be close to that. We are projected to be fighting against relegation, though the bookies have us surviving. I like those odds. Mark Chris Hoyle tightly to improve our chances of winning. Done and done. I'd also like to mark you tightly. Just keep a close eye on them, please. A really close eye, if you please. Come on, guys, show me what you can do. Morale's pretty good. Had some good preseason results before this match. Hoping that carries forward. Here we go, my first match in charge of Grimsby against Barry to kick off League 2 2019-2020. Let's see if we can make it happen. Barry, of course, in their white kits. Grimsby in the traditional black and white stripes. So far, pretty quiet game. That serves me well. I will handle a quiet game. Brimmer already getting stuck in. It's fine by me. Fry with a throw-in. Eves. Back to Fry in the middle for Quinn! Saved! Point blank. Eves with the follow-up. Saved again by Mitchell. 2 great saves by Mitchell. McCourt with the corner. Headed away. Quinn will pick it up, though. Get the shot off. It goes short to Lowry. I'll get that right eventually. Lowry. McCourt. Crosses it in. No one's there. Lowry. There we go. I can get it. Just give me a second. I'll figure it out. McCourt. Short little ball to Eves. Eves brought down. That'll be a free kick. Take. It's McCourt. Taken. Off the bar! And it's out for another corner. Grimsby are taking it to Barry. The opening 20 minutes of this match. I like it. McCourt's corner. Nothing doing. Got opts not to let it run. Keeps possession. McCourt. Short. Eves flicked on Quinn! Eves with the flick to Jonathan Quinn. 18th minute. Grimsby are up 1-0. Oh, that feels good, doesn't it? Good call there by Grant not to let it run out. McCourt to Eves, the little flick. Thank you very much. Quinn unmarked volleys it. Spitting distance of the goal. And he makes no mistake. 1-0 Grimsby. A win here would be fantastic to start the season off on the right foot. Help the manager's debut look even more special. There was a comment in the media before they started that the Hartlepool manager felt that I was a fantastic signing for Grimsby Town. So, thank you, Hartlepool. Minute of added time in the first half. We're up 1-0 at Blundell Park. I like it. Keep it up. Keep it up. It was Eves, the second striker, getting that assist on Quinn's goal. Tom Eves. Got hopes for him. He could be a very, very good target man for us in the future. McCourt. Nganzi. Laruri to Eves. Tries his luck. Can't get it on target. Mitchell. He did so well. He's already had 5 shots on target. Made 4 saves. And then there's been a 6th shot that hit the woodwork. Goalkeeper's best friend. Nice ball there, but McCown. Oh no, it goes through! McCown did not hold on to it and Rose pokes it in for the equalizer. What happened there? So the ball is passed forward by Grant. McCown picks it up. Oh no, he drops it! What on earth happened there? That is... I almost want to say that's got to be an AI glitch because that seems absurd. Brimmer now on a yellow. Court now with the free kick. Just over the bar. Alright, so let's get Brimmer off. Bring on whom? Clay or Bennett? Both are ball-winning midfielders. I could always push Nganzi back. Which I think I shall. And we'll put... let's push Clay in. Also on the bench, Luke Coulson, Scott Bennett, Alex Whittle, Danny McKenna, Jimmy Spencer. Spencer I may bring in for Eves, just for fitness. We do a Capital One Cup fixture in 2 days. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna throw. Swad Thomas doing well in the center of the park. Fry not so much. We'll bring on Coulson on the right. And oof. I think I better bring on McKenna for our flagging star midfielder. He did come on late. Might explain the irregularity, which might explain the lack of match fitness. Adams. Out wide to Grant. Well cleared by Thomas. And McKenna runs onto it. Trying to make an instant impact since his substitution. Swad Thomas. Court. McKenna. Brought down, no call. Followed by Clay. The shot is on target and pushed away. Eves brought down in the box, no call. Shots 15-5 in favor of Grimsby. Can they find that second goal? After a bizarre equalizer by Danny Rose. Knotted the score at 1. Clay does well to win that ball back, but he in turn has it one off of him. Nganzi now looks long, finds Eves. Holds up. Can he find Quinn? Offs go out wide to Coulson. McCourt. McKenna. Eves. Eves. Back to Nganzi. McKenna. Quinn. Wide. Right. What do we got here? How are their players doing? It's Alex Jones' character. We should keep an eye on him. They've gone to a 4-4-2. And this Gary Ford guy is kind of pulling all the strings, isn't he? Let's keep an eye on him. Quinn. McKenna. Eves. McKenna. Quinn. Saved. Mitchell, I feel could have let that run. Ops take no chances. McCourt. And for Nganzi. Headed by Swan out for another corner. McCourt. Corner's loads time. Ford gets there. Books it away. Swad Thomas will intercept it halfway. But nothing further comes of it. Yeah, McCown is credited as having an error there. 6.2 is his overall rating. Rose's header just wide. Woo. McCown. Can we get something started here? Gonzi does well in the mid. Eves, McKenna, Clay. Looks long, looking for Quinn. Swan heads it clear though. Wilden. Looks long, and this is Barry on the counter. Jones. To Rose, the goal scorer. Nice tackle there by Clay. McKenna. Back the other way from Grimsby. Eves, right up the middle to Quinn. Quinn. Being left all alone here is Quinn. But he can't hit the target. Danny Rose has been replaced by Lloyd Thomas. Let's just keep an eye on this Lloyd Thomas fellow, shall we? Oh, there are 2 Danny Roses. Oh, why? Why would you do that to me and every other person out there? Why would you do that, Barry? Why would you sign 2 players named Danny Rose? Anyway, Quinn into the area. Can't hit the target. Shots 20-8. 11 or 8 on target. It's been a good performance by Mitchell. Oh, Eves trying on the volley to end it. Deflected out for a corner. McCourt. Knocked away by Grant. That should just about do it. Swad Thomas taking his time over this one. Preserving the point on opening day is not the worst thing in the world. Especially in an away match. Nganzi, McKenna, Eves. There's still time. Nganzi. McCourt. Brought down. And Barry goes the other way. Rose now. Danny Rose the first. Adams. Nicky Adams goes inside to Danny Rose the second. Grant. Cross is well wide. Can't even claim he was trying to score with that. That was a horrible. Torquay beating up on Bolton 5-1. Could Bolton drop again? Grimsby indeed feel they should have won the game. They should indeed. Unlucky, boys. Quite unlucky that our keeper decided. Quite unlucky indeed. Result 2, yeah, whatever. Well, we drew a whole bunch of other teams that also went 1-1. No nil draws. So everybody, at least one team, scored a goal in every match on opening day. Season ends right now, I'd be pretty happy. But as it stands, I have to deal with Blackburn Rovers in the Capital One Cup next. Of course, we have to draw a championship side. Because why wouldn't we? And following that, a match against a Torquay United side that just destroyed Bolton Wanderers. So, you know, it's going to be rough. However, we're not going to let that get us down. And next time, when we check in with Mr. Unemployable, we will be at the 1/4 mark of the 2019-2020 season, which means if you're doing the counting like I am, madly in your head, with 23 teams, that means 46 matches, half of which would be, again, 23, half of which, again, would be 11.5. So we will check in before match number 12 in League 2 and see just how Grimsby Town are doing. There will also be updates with Nigeria, but that'll all have to be next time on Mr. Unemployable. My name is Rituro. Thank you all so much for watching, everybody. If you like what you've seen, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow. Tell all your friends about the videos being hosted at youtube.ca/steelswords. Of course, you can always watch these episodes as they're recorded live on twitch.tv/Rituro. And you can always reach out to me on Twitter if you have a question, at @ThatRituroGuy. Once again, my name is Rituro. Just call me Mr. Unemployable. We'll see you next time.